God day, elegant soul food, concentrated nature baby coming through with another dearly departed video. Here we work through the trauma and of the transition of our dearly departed and find various ways to cope and pull messages, divine messages from our dearly departed. So in the last video, I was talking about thanking our dearly departed, thanking them for sharing this journey with us, right? One of the things I often say as soon as these transitions happen is I'll never speak of you in past tense. I'll always speak of you in present tense. And as time goes on, I've noticed that there's a slip here and there, right? And you're just weary. You know, part of being human is you get weary. You get weary. That's part of the human experience. People can lie and say that they don't. You get weary. At some point, at some level, whether it's spiritual, mental, physical, dehydration, something, this temple wears down because it's going to transition and you'll just be spirit one day, like our dearly departed. So, that being said, I am making myself more conscious, and when I say their name, I say at that time. So, for instance, if I was saying my dearly departed person's name was John, I'll say John at that time. I remember when John at that time took me to the store or took me to Chicago or took me to Arkansas. So John at that time, I remember John at that time as opposed to the time that's happening right now. So that is working on accepting that they are still with us in the spiritual form. Remember, love never dies, right? So I speak to them in present tense and I speak of them in present tense. I always keep their name in the air and tell stories about them and bring them up. What is that saying that when people stop talking about you, it's a second death? Um, Respect the time. In respect of the time, love and respect of the time they were assigned to this realm. Their name at this time, John at this time, Cherie at this time, Alberta at this time, Alberta at that time, Sharon at that time, Cherie at that time, Lynn at this time, Lynn at that time. You see what I'm saying? I hope that makes sense to you. So, at that time, that age, that event, and that circumstance, that's how we keep their name alive in the present tense. Long may they reign, loving in our lives. And I'm going to pull some energy. Dearly deposit, dearly departed. In this time, and that time, and this time, and that time. I'll always point you in the right direction. I'm sorry, please forgive me. Oh, God. Although you may understand that everything happened for a reason, it was my time to go. So one more. Am I putting one more? I'm not getting one more. We are so connected. I know it. I know it. I ain't ashamed to show it. The first one was, I will always point you in the right direction. My neighbors are getting on my last. I'm not used to this much noise in my neighborhood. I will always point you in the right direction. Although I'm not God or an angel, I do have the ability to guide you. Keep in mind that I'm not privy to the all-knowing wisdom of the universe. For that, you'd want to consult God, which you can do just by asking for help. However, I do have the benefit of all my earthly lessons, which taught me a lot. I also have a broader perspective on your circumstance from my heavenly vantage point. So you can think of me as a trustworthy confidant whom you can turn to for advice. Please know that I'll do that all that I can to guide you toward what's best for you. I've learned how to let my own ego get out of the way and focus on helping you and others from a place of pure love. Yeah, they have no other choice. But I'm just reading this for the first time. It's like they had no other choice. Said that like they had an option. You'll notice the signs that I send you through your feelings, dreams, and other reminders to think of me. Perfect example. When one of my sisters transitioned, my phone was ringing and I knew it was drama on the phone, and I was getting ready to answer the phone to address it. As I was reaching for my phone, I'm driving and it's the harness there. As I'm reaching to touch the phone, one of the last songs I sang to her came on the radio. And I just pulled back. I was like, I hear you, sis. I hear you, sis. I am sorry. Please forgive me. I am sorry. Please forgive me. It's the next card. Now that I'm over here, I had a chance to review my life. I understand how my actions affected you. I need to apologize so both our souls can move forward. You see, if either one of us is hanging on to guilt or resentment, it stalls our personal growth. Please know that every moment I was doing the very best I could. I will now finally admit to you how frightened I was. I made an effort to appear strong, but underneath I was scared of everything, including life. I covered up my fears by closing my heart or feelings, emotions, and I know this hurt you quite a bit. I promise that I've now learned from this error, but I have forgiven and have compassion for myself. I ask that you please do the same and forgive me too. Although you may not understand it now, everything happens for a reason. It's the next card. My neighbors are too wild with that loud music. There is a divine order behind everything that happens, including the time of my passing. I realized that you weren't ready to let me go, and in many ways, I wasn't ready either. Since my passing, I've received spiritual counseling to help me see the big picture of my life and death. I now understand that I had to leave the way I did. It was part of my soul contract and yours as well. I see that everything in this universe is mathematically precise. There are no accidents. At some level, your soul knew that I would leave before you did. We've both been preparing for this transition since the beginning of our relationship. I'm grateful for all the beautiful moments we shared together, along with the lessons I learned from the difficult times. It's all divinely perfect. It was my time to go. Next card. God bless y'all for watching this. It's heavy, but it's all right. It's all right. It's all right. It was my time to go. It was my time to go. I got a date with death as well. I know that it feels like a dream you can't wake up from, but please be reassured that every soul comes into this world has a predetermined time and also exit at the time is meant to for its own growth. Spiritual. When I came here, it all just seemed too amazing to believe. But now I see that there's a bigger force and I'm an incredible order to everything in the universe. Every soul has a cosmic plan it must follow. What you might perceive as an accident is merely a step in the cosmic dance. We are so connected. It's the last card. I've been able to review my life here in heaven. And I've seen how perfectly everything we do is woven together. There are no accidents or wrong turns. Everything makes sense now. I wanted to give you the exciting news that in my life review, I saw you and I have a strong soul connection through many lifetimes. We'll be together again. We've been each other's teachers, sometimes in unpleasant ways. Several times in this lifetime, we were magnetically drawn together because we had mutual work to do for our personal and others. For ours personally and others. That's worded weird. And now that I'm here, our connection remains strong, just like it did when I was living in my body. Our thoughts are in sync with one another. We often think of each other simultaneously. So think of me and know that I'm doing the same, always with love. See how that works? Say their name at that time and at this time. They are still with us in the spiritual realm. Speak of them in the present tense. Respect the time they were assigned to us in this realm. Say their name at this time and at that time and that age and that event and that circumstance. I really hope that these messages are blessing you, and thank you for coming through. I'm Elegant Soul Food, Consecrated Nature Baby, and I'll see you next time. Love and blessings.